But I've heard that there's a little bit more of an issue when it comes to online stuff like that. Like for example, if an 18-year-old starts dating like a 16-year-old over the internet, I've been told that that's still like illegal and it's not.
Standing like encounter, or is it more in the fact that she is severely mentally ill, so there is potential for heavy repercussions?
Hey, listen, you're getting into the VR chat shit. I'm
I
telling you, you can
mean,
go forever with
my
this stuff.
God, these people are accusing me of not caring about victims. These people are saying that like this isn't my turf and I need to stay off. Like, I quite frankly,
Some of the stuff that was sent as well is just embarrassing because there was more than just the interaction with the girl. Hello.
hello, Urghbla. Welcome to the stream. It is great to have you here.
Thank you. How's it going?
I'm doing well, man. I can't complain. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Cool. So yeah, as you know, like I just kind of wanted some context around everything and to kind of hear you in your own words talk about it and answer a few questions. We just got done watching your video on the situation and
Mhm.
just kind of wanted to, touch base about it. So my first question would just be, if you would, can you kind of and listen, if I get a little redundant here in terms of like if it's something you covered in your video already, I apologize. It's just gonna kind of help clear things up the best way, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. But I would really love it if you could explain the OSI situation just kind of in your own words for us.
Yeah. Um, so I don't. I'll be honest. So before anything, I've seen a few people, like outside people. I actually watched your input on the video as well just now. I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
watching that, and it's interesting to me to see how like confusing it is. Like I get it. But something I wanted to say is it's kind of like his own. Like I don't know if did you watch his accountability statement, like the video he came out with?
I haven't gotten a chance to watch that yet. We're watching that later though.
Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much what my whole video is responding to because his video is so vague and it like for example, right? And let's just cut the right. So when it comes to, these minor age gaps, I guess using the word minor makes it sound weird, but like 17
I
and
know what you mean.
19 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there are people in the VR chat space who will die on the hill that that person's a for it, including him. I think I'm I haven't really watched his content much. I've talked to him personally and I see the way he carried himself. So, but that being said, I'm sure there's an example in his content. When I brought this up, people have told me that it's true, so I believe it. Um, I'm sure there's an example where he has exposed somebody for being a 19-year-old talking to a 17-year-old. So it's like by his own logic, like yes, he's a predator, right? And I've also been pretty clear that I don't really give a shit, like especially like the only people that actually care, I'm pretty certain are like actual like 14-year-olds that don't understand. And I will say, to the credit of people who do think it's a problem, me being older than 19, I also that's like way out of my like familiarity at this point. Like I just don't give a shit. Like, a grown man doesn't really think about children dating necessarily. But,
Sure.
all that to say, um, yeah, it's just from this point, I've kind of decided to take the approach of I'm just going to talk about what's happening and not so much interject my thoughts on this because it doesn't really benefit me in any way. Like I have knowledge of these things 'cause I just happen to be in the know with all this stuff. But as far as like me talking about like how I feel or whatever, it doesn't really matter because people are gonna have their opinions anyway. I'm just stating what's happening, right? So you did ask about the OSI situation.
Mm-hmm.
I guess something I've also seen with that is some people seem to think that I was making the accusations. Is that what you're under the impression of as well to start with, or I'm just
Just, I mean, I do have a couple, and you can like totally anything I bring up here, you can 100% dispute. That's the entire point of this call is like just adding
mm,
context to things.
sure.
But I got the sense that maybe you were supportive of the allegations at
Mm,
first. Like with I do see here. Let me just make sure chat can see it, and I'll also share screen with you so you can see it.
Okay.
The you hearted this Sileskios comment on part of the situation here. Hold on, let me make sure you see it. Sorry, I've got a ton of moving parts here.
Yeah, it'd be helpful.
Let's see. So I'm just pulling them all up here. Then share screen with you. All right. So this first one here, one of your community posts about rejecting Cloud's trolls, and stop defending Benelli trolls, right? And then further on Clouds, and then this hearted comment from Sileskios.
Is this on one of those posts that I made, like the one of those ones you showed there?
This
Oh, that's on that video. Okay.
Yes.
Let me see. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. So he's talking about yeah. So yeah, none of that's particular to OSI.
Okay, so the bigger matters thing isn't like, so I guess I'm not entirely sure why people are using this. I think essentially what they're trying to say is that you've been supportive of Sileskios in the past, and specifically as well that maybe that this bigger matters thing is alluding to the OSI situation.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so, because in that video you might recall I mentioned trying to keep names and certain people private for the sake of, things going on. There are things at play that are things that are private and unrelated to this that involve people. And I know that's very vague, but it is for a reason. But I can assure you that's unrelated. I mean, to be fair, I'm not in his head, but I mean, Sileskios has alluded to these bigger matters, bigger meanings in the past, but they're not. It's much bigger than the OSI thing. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Is that something that's gonna come to the public at a later date or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I am not somebody who I'm pretty good at keeping my mouth shut about things, but if you go to Sileskios' channel, I'm sure there's something on there that I could show you. Let me actually look myself to see if it's there, because I swear he posted something that might actually give you more of what you're looking for. Hold on.
I see.
Where is it? I'm sorry for the
No, you're fine.
quietness.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time.
I'm just trying to look. I swear there was mention of it somewhere, but okay, either way, I won't stall or anything. But essentially, yes, this is something, this whole bigger thing is something that'll be coming up, let's just say within like the next few months or so.
I see. Okay. Interesting. And so back to the OSI stuff. Like, can you just describe that situation in your own words?
Yeah, so and I guess I'll also try to like play devil's advocate to perhaps maybe try to figure out why people would think that I was like totally on that train. So OSI situation, there was to be honest with you, I barely even looked into the evidence myself because I don't really give a shit.
Various communities and collide tears of joy.
Okay. Thank you for the 5. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
Go on.
So I barely looked into that situation myself because I kind of just stay in my own lane. I mean, as somebody who's involved in a lot of stupid, I generally just kind of stay in my own lane. I'm not really watching other people's videos. But I did hear some of the details, and maybe some of it was like biased, if it, because a lot of the stuff I heard was from him directly rather than like watching a video or reviewing evidence. But yeah, so there's this girl who makes a ticket in his server saying that she was like making art for him or something, and then OSI. I guess he kind of like jokingly shot his shot, and next thing he knows, he's making a Snapchat account to, see pictures of her and stuff.
I'm gonna stick my so far down your throat.
Oh my God.
Be able to
Hold on.
Can you show Urghbla the music? It will open him up more and allow an
Thank
honest
you.
exchange of information to occur.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna we're gonna save donos till the end here, and we will definitely get back to it, guys. I promise. If you guys have any questions, feel free to donate, and we'll try to get to them. Okay. But until then, I'm gonna just let Urghbla be able to talk here without interruption. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. So long story short, yeah, so he makes the Snapchat to see this girl's, and maybe he sends his pee-pee to her, and then maybe he, she also sends her to him again, and there's some conversation there where things get a little like I don't know, maybe romantic, so to speak. Like, oh, I don't know. It was just some stupid shit it sounded like. But after the fact, something goes wrong where it comes to Sileskios and she has a lot of regrets. And even to this day, I mean, I don't fully understand what's going on, but I know she seems to be deeply like impacted by the situation and like hurt over it. Um, and I know Sileskios, he made like the big document, and the thing with that is, I went on stream, I looked over the document, and generally speaking, the things in the document they make sense, but whether or not they apply to the situation, I think is a little bit more, in question. And the situation did make me think a little bit about it. Like, okay, so yeah, so there's more to being a predator than going after somebody underage. Like obviously there are other predatory dynamics, and sure, a power imbalance type of predatory dynamic is a thing, sure. So like when I'm reading through this document that he made, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see it. I can see the arguments, and I know there was parts in there as well about one specific thing I remember is like Osai or Sileskios made some mention talking about like blackmail because she sent her like ID, but I don't know if that was ever really a factor. It was more so like the document basically said he could blackmail her because he got her ID. You know what I mean? Not so much that he really did that.
Right.
So
Just that could
there's
happen.
some yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, I'm just reading this document on the stream, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see what you're talking about. Now, whether it applies to it or not, I don't really know, or I didn't really look into. But yeah, like when it comes to actual like accusations, I never was actually, I wasn't involved in that in any way.
Right.
Um,
And from
yeah.
my understanding, you called it inappropriate but didn't go any further than that. Is that right?
To be honest, I don't really remember the specifics, but I would say it was stupid. And something that it did make me think about is like, okay, so if there is this, power imbalance dynamic, predatory situation happening, I don't know if I would. The conclusion that I kind of made was like, I don't think that's really what's happening here. But if it was like a habit, like let's say Osai, every weekend he hits up a random fan and is like, "Hey, I'm Osai, and I'm let me see your tits because you idolize me." I would say that's a little bit more like predatory. Like if you're intentionally abusing that dynamic to manipulate these people that way. And it might sound stupid to some people, but the truth is there are people out there that would actually easily be manipulated by that, especially probably in the VR chat scene. So
Right. And
yeah,
and just for sorry, real quick, and then
yeah.
I want you to continue. But for context, what was the age gap between Osai and this artist?
He's 19. I think she was like 24 or 26 or something. I don't even know.
Mm, okay.
So I do want to give you a little bit. I don't even know how to say it, but I do have a little more that I want to mention about the specifics of the situation. But first, I'll just finish what I was saying. Essentially, I concluded that I wouldn't consider him a predator unless he was actually like had a habit of intentionally trying to abuse that and use these girls for that type of purpose. I would consider that a little bit more like predatory. Now, I will say, and again, I'm going to try and be careful about how I say this to not hurt someone's feelings. But that girl, she's kind of been around, and she made a ticket in my server recently, saying that she needed to like speak to me or something, and she said she felt uncomfortable like doing it in the ticket. So I was like, okay, I'll add you, and you can DM me. And so she's DMing me a bunch of stuff, and she's mentioning that like people are like messing with her, and she says like, "Oh, size, they're sending people after me." And I'm talking to her like, "Okay, are you sure they're actually doing it? Is it not just like maybe your friends, or but you have bad friends, or maybe they're the ones doing it? I don't know." Um, I basically tried telling her like, "Hey, maybe you don't have like a good friend group. Like if they're like finding you on VR chat." And like harassing you about it, like maybe like I highly doubt that Osai is sending people to go and mess with her. I wouldn't, what do I know? I don't know. But what I did learn from that interaction, and again, I'm gonna try and say this in a way that isn't like hurting her feelings necessarily, but funnily enough, after that interaction with her, I almost felt like that was like the most convinced that he was a predator in a weird way, only because like I don't know how to say this, but if you just see the way that she speaks and
She seems extremely mentally ill, maybe.
yes,
Okay.
essentially that. I
Okay.
mean, like you should see the shit she was sending me. Like, and again, no disrespect. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes or hurt them, but there's like, I don't know how he wouldn't have seen that.
Mm,
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Like she like sent me like essays and essays, and she was saying, "Oh, we should be friends," and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like she was just like super going crazy and just like
Extremely
really
parasocial, it seems.
yes, and also just like very like all over the place. Like she would say like I didn't respond at all because I was, doing whatever, and I check my messages and she's saying this, and then she's like being upset, like lots of like mood shifts, like just like a whole wall of text of like various different emotions, and she's like, "Oh, you want to be my friend?" And also like, "Oh, like if you heard me in a call, like this and that." Like I can see how easily this person would be to take advantage of. And I don't think that's really what happened there based on from what I recall the evidence. It didn't seem like much of that was shown of her, at least in that ticket. But I don't know. Maybe that's just like, him being young and not realizing that. But me personally, I would feel like I'm doing something wrong if I, went there with her. But whatever.
So
That's just besides the point. But yeah, go ahead.
sure, sure. And I mean, like, with that being said, I mean, I think that there is, there's a lot of nuance and stuff like this. I think that there's probably a difference between, and I'm sure you would agree with this, there's probably a difference between like taking advantage of someone, which is, douchey and shitty, probably, right? Versus like, her being to a point where she is unable to give informed consent, you know, right? So I mean, the encounter itself or encounters, right, could have been consensual, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't some advantage being taken, right? Could be
Maybe.
possible.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I give Oside the benefit of the doubt. I really would like to think that he probably just didn't see it that way. But to me, it's like very obvious that you shouldn't touch that, like the way he went. So, but that's his. I would argue that's probably the worst thing of everything with that situation, which wasn't even something that was mentioned. So, you know what I mean? Like, whatever.
And just to clarify, when you say like I wouldn't touch that, like, and again, I understand you not wanting to be like mean or anything, but I think it's an
Yeah.
important clarification. Are we talking about her being immature and mentally ill to the extent where you believe that she like there's going to be a certain length of which this is not going to be a fully like informed understanding like counter, or is it more in the fact that she is severely mentally ill, so there is potential for heavy repercussions? Like what do you mean by that?
Uh, Definitely, like, I don't know if this person is like well enough to actually like participate in this. Like, I don't know if that, like, you know what I mean? It'd be like to me, and this is an exaggeration, but it's like this person is not fully understanding of what's happening, but they just know that they're like a fan of you. Like, I've had
Mm,
interactions like that in the past where there's like really parasocial, like, you know, fans that are like trying to get with you, and it just makes you feel like it would make you feel really weird. I think to a normal person, you would feel very weird to engage with that in a sexual manner. You know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah, I understand
Yeah.
what you mean. Okay. Um, all right. So, and then now these next couple of questions are more relevant to the video that you made
Mhm.
itself. Just like a couple of clarifying things since I'm not a part of this community. So there's like some names and just random stuff like that that I'm not aware of. So who is Tronzina? Your name right?
Franzina,
Stronzina.
Franzina,
Okay,
yeah.
Stronzina. Got it.
So Franzina is or was his partner.
Okay.
She like collaborated on a lot of the stuff. Even if you even look in that document on Osai, like she's credited alongside him. Like they did pretty much everything, making the videos and stuff. So she was kind of like an extension of him in a lot of ways, I think.
Okay. Okay. And so, and that's the partner that got cheated on, right?
Yes, there was that partner, and then there was some other person who, as I kind of said in the video, I know it's all jumbled, but basically there was the 17-year-old girl that Sileskios was interacting with.
Right.
And then at the time, Sileskios was also supposedly dating somebody else. And then apparently that was also around the time that he met Stranzina. And supposedly she was also unaware and being cheated on. So that's kind of when I said the thing about like him being like a
Multiple
dog.
partners. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Hmm.
I just don't even like I don't even like if you're talking to like three or who knows, probably there's probably more. If you're talking to that many people at once, I don't really know how serious the relationship is, especially considering that you know, Stranzina's relationship with him at that time was still pretty fresh from what she told me. So I don't know really to the extent of, how deep the relationship was, but Yeah. So yeah, it was multiple people, at least in that instance, and I believe there was other instances down the line where he cheated as well. After he was well into his relationship with his partner Stranzina. So, but that I'm not educated on, but that's just what I've heard. So there might have been more instances after the fact, which contributed to their relationship no longer existing now.
Sure, sure. And what is your take on like cheating, like drama? Like, do you think stuff like that deserves to become like a public spectacle? I mean, I think that you've already alluded to this, but I'm kind of just, I just want to hear you say it, I guess, like when directly prompted.
I just think it depends, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
his channel was about exposing people cheating,
Right.
I think it would, then yes. But like I said, I don't think that in order to be accountable for mistakes you made, that means you need to make a YouTube video embarrassing yourself. So I don't know if he needed to even mention the cheating at all in his statement. And maybe when you see the statement yourself, you'll kind of see what I mean. But a lot of it, like half of it, is like being very apologetic toward his partner, which is like fine, but it's like, you know, you're coming out with a video basically calling yourself a monster and a predator, and then you're apologizing for cheating on your partner in it as well. Like I don't know. I just you don't owe the public an apology for cheating on your partner, I don't think.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I figured.
yeah.
So do you think that Sileskios is predatory?
I can't even comment on that because like I said, there's more things coming out, and the Temlo stuff is really bad. Speaking of which, I I did receive the evidence. Now I do have a lot of the screenshots that Temlo is working with. None of them are censored, so they're not things that I really want to like obviously
Yeah.
share or anything
Yeah,
like
they're
that.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's what
now
Timlo
that
was telling me
I'm
as well.
yeah. So I think, to be honest, the worst thing I'm hearing is that he had a group of minors that he was working with, like, and just seeing the screenshots of him, like, I have a screenshot that he's literally talking to somebody that he's fully aware of as a minor, and he's like, "Here, look at look at this furry porn that this predator sent." You know what I mean? It's like that. I just don't. I'm just pretty confused, to be honest with you. So as far as calling him a predator, I can't even really comment on that, to be honest. And it's like it's too difficult to even say because more stuff comes out. So if I didn't right now, somebody would be like, "Oh, he doesn't think he's a predator." Well, he literally did this, but it's like I didn't know that at the time. You know what I mean?
Well, then
So yeah.
let's just rephrase for the sake of the question so that you don't
Okay.
get into trouble here. Like with just the like cheating scandal and the 1917 age gap stuff, do you
Mhm.
think that he's predatory solely based on that?
Um, I guess if we also exclude like maybe the specific, like let's take him out of the situation, right? Like at the end of the day, what we're really talking about is a 17 to 19-year-old, right? Like if we're just speaking
Correct.
from that hypothetical, kind of like what I said earlier, like I genuinely don't really give a shit about that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So, I'm sure there's certain elements of it that can be of concern, and like, as a grown man, again, I don't think too deeply into the relationships that people are, children are having. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, and because that kind of it opens the it opens the door to like, okay, so 17, 19 is bad. So what about 17 and 18? Is that bad? Some people would still say yes. I've had conversations with people like this. It's ridiculous, right? And I'm like, okay, what if the 17-year-old's birthday is tomorrow, and then the 18-year-old they're dating just turned 18 a day before them? They're literally a day apart in age. They would still tell you it's bad. So instead of having conversations with people like that, and then me being called a p word for that stupid kind of conversation, it's just not even worth going there for me. So yeah, me personally, I don't give a shit about that, unless there's like certain elements, you know. But if it's just based on a 17 and 19, I think most people would say, probably outside of VR chat especially, I think most people would say that it's maybe a little strange, but to say that that person's going to be a 40-year-old one day camping outside of a high school, I think is a bit of a stretch. You know what I mean?
Right. So to clarify, like, no, not predatory. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say so.
Okay. Gotcha. And then so we just gotta thank you for the 5 kilo Blitzwilla. Shout out to Urghbla for catching Peebos.
Oh, thank
I
you.
stemmed prostate at a time. I don't know what that part means, but
I do
that's
have a little bit to add to that last part as well. If
yeah, go ahead, please do.
So my brain just went blank, but talking about like a 17 and 19, I actually just lost it. So
Oh,
I'll let
you're
you know if I
fine.
remember though.
Yeah, you're
Threw me
fine.
off.
I mean, this might jog it a little bit because we're going to continue on that track.
Yeah.
So you said in the video specifically that 19 and 17 as an age gap is worse when it's online. And I
Mm,
was just wondering what the kind of thought
yeah.
behind that is.
So that's just what I've heard personally, and that's just me like I don't like touching that shit because people are retarded, to say it bluntly. But I've heard that there's a little bit more of an issue when it comes to online stuff like that. Like for example, if an 18-year-old starts dating like a 16-year-old over the internet, I've been told that that's still like illegal and it's not like Romeo and Juliet stuff doesn't apply there or things of that nature. Like, there's some specifics there that make it different, but
So you're saying from a
yeah,
legal aspect rather than a
I
moralistic
think legal.
aspect.
Yeah, yeah, legally, I believe, but I could be completely wrong on that too. That's just kind of, yeah, but yes,
Okay,
it was based on legal things, not like morally, I suppose.
I gotcha. Gotcha. Makes sense. Okay.
Mhm.
So what are, answer this however you feel like you can, but what are the contents of the email that you described in your video
Mhm.
that, as you said, made it clear that he was okay with calling someone a predator if it wasn't him? I'm assuming the implication is under the same circumstances. And is this a reference to something we've talked about previously, or is this something totally different?
So I think first to clarify, the email that I have doesn't show that he would accuse somebody of such. I think his videos would show that. But
Okay.
the emails that I have are the interactions, some of the interactions, not all of it. There's much more to it than what I got. And so there's other people that have that. But just a few screenshots showing some of the things that took place between him and, when he was 19 and the 17-year-old girl that he was, messing around with all the other people at the same time. So the contents of those messages showed him basically flirting with her and making like sexual comments. So there was no images from what I understand, at least for what I had. And the reason I wanted to clarify that is because some people are straight up saying that he like sent images or that he literally like R-worded her, like literally. And yeah, so that was part of the reason I wanted to sort of talk a bit about that. But yeah, for what I have, the evidence that I have pretty much just shows him like flirting and making some kind of like cringe, like sexual remarks about like, them interacting in some sexual way, like the same way you would probably, things that you'd probably imagine, like nothing crazy. But yeah, it's him obviously making sexual advances, toward her.
Okay. Gotcha. So, I'm not gonna say this is confirmed solely because Simblow's video has not come out yet, so we don't have the
Mhm.
proof. Not to say that, Timlo is lying in any way. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just being cautious.
Yeah.
Um, but if it is true that he was using minors for stings, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I can tell you based on the screenshots that I have, it's definitely true. I know that's just my word, but 100% is true. And like, if you recall in the video that I made, I mentioned that he was getting on somebody's ass for, you know, unknown to them, they were having a conversation about like predatory stuff with a minor. And as soon as they realized that, they were apologetic and were like, "Oops, yeah, no, that's not good," right? So the fact that he would grill somebody for that when he's been doing that for the entire time and having like a whole group of these kids that he's working with, it just like not only is it like massively hypocritical and like again, it just like really brings into like, I didn't know him too well, but like holy shit, do I really not know him at this point? You know what I mean? And that's just personally, but obviously from like a outsider's perspective, like it's obviously like very concerning and like gross, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So my shit just glitched, sorry. Um
No problem.
so earlier when we were talking about the screenshots of the messages between the 17-year-old and Sileskios, I'm sorry if I butcher his name all
Slug
the
at
time.
19.
Sileskios, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. the reason that you said you hadn't published them was because you don't do that unless you get explicit permission from the victim or the person who is, whatever you would like to call it in this situation.
Yeah, whoever provides it and whatever. Yeah.
Right. So does the 17-year-old in this situation not want those screenshots to be public?
I actually haven't even asked, and I think I mentioned it a little bit, but in his accountability statement, he himself was very transparent about what happened. So it's like, I didn't feel the need to be like, no, this is what's happening, and now I have to prove it. You know what I mean? Like, if he comes out and says, yes, I did this with this person, I didn't necessarily feel the need to, get that and throw it out there. You know what I'm saying?
I would, I would lightly push back on that solely just because I think
Hmm.
the context is valuable in
Sure.
a situation like this.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from with this.
Yeah.
Um,
I just don't know if like if somebody admits to doing something, that's kind of evidence, right? Would you say?
I would say that is if the admission
Like it's
itself,
not
sure, sure.
it means they're guilty, it doesn't really give the specifics, right? But
Yeah, well, and see, here's the thing. People have
Mhm.
been like, I mean, you talked about it yourself with the public humiliation thing, right?
Yeah.
Like people can get kind of, especially weaker minded people, not to say that in a mean way, but like weaker minded people can certainly get boxed into having a stronger opinion about something than is actually appropriate to have. And that's why I tend to prefer having that stuff out there so that the public can kind
Mhm.
of make a decision on their own rather
Yeah,
than
that's fair.
having it from a biased source, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So part of the this isn't really like a pushback, but at the same time as well, right? It's like if we both agree that this isn't predatory to begin with, it almost feels unnecessary as well. But for the sake of context, I understand why people would want to see that. I mean, I guess I'd have to think about it. Maybe I could reach out to the person involved. I will say that the girl seems to really not give a shit one bit. I did follow up with her recently. I sent her his accountability statement and that video that you watched that I made, and I was like, hey, if you get a chance, like take a look at these and just give me your thoughts, because I'm really curious to know how she would react to his statement. Because something else is after he was confronted with this stuff, he actually did get in contact with the girl and was very apologetic to her, and she even told me, she's like, you guys are taking this like way too serious. And I'm like, hey, look, that's him. Like, you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, that being said, let me see here. Like here, again, this is just where is it here? One sec. I'd have to look at this. Some of the stuff that was sent as well is just embarrassing, because there was more than just the interaction with girl. There was also stuff mixed in there with the other person he cheated with, not the Stranzina person. So some of that contains like pictures of him that are pretty embarrassing, that aren't like nudity or anything like that. But there's stuff in there that, like, there's definitely some stuff in there that I wouldn't release, just because I don't think he deserves to be like, I don't know. I guess I have a bit of a soft spot in this case, but I don't think that like I should be like, hey, look, here's a cringe picture of him he sent to an adult. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
when the apparent victim themselves is saying that you guys are making a way bigger deal out of it than needed, and
Mhm.
like he is essentially by a lot of people getting accused of being a predator because of
Yeah,
this specific example, like I would say that the potential embarrassment caused by the release of, cringe messages would probably be significantly less severe than, the potential of him, being seen as a predator by a lot of people.
well, I mean, yeah, I hear you. Like, I think the evidence, if anything, like if you compare the evidence of what actually happened, at least from what I have, if there's more to this that I haven't seen, so be it. But the evidence that I have compared to the statement that he made, I think that he makes himself look worse than anything that's currently out there. Like, he literally labeled himself a monster and like, you know, a predator, right? So, I mean, if anything, the evidence might uh it would definitely clear up some of the misinformation, especially people claiming that he sent pictures, people saying that he, like R-worded her, like literally. So,
Right. So I mean, I think that would potentially add like a lot of value to this situation.
yeah, maybe.
Um, like
Uh,
so I mean, with that being said, and I'm not saying this to like, unnecessarily push you or anything like that. I'm just kind of curious on the
mhm.
thought process. Like, why didn't you ask if it was okay to release those screenshots, other than what you said earlier about like kind of embarrassing information being in it?
Because like I said, it was mainly just because he came out and admitted everything himself, so I didn't really go there. But what the fuck was I gonna say? Hold on. All right, I'll my mind went blank again, but you can, you can continue. I'll let you know if I remember.
No, you're fine. So essentially, like, kind of what I'm saying is like, given the fact that your own like take on this was that it was less severe than he was depicting it as, from the evidence that you saw, of course, not saying you saw everything, but
Sorry to interrupt with you. I did remember part of what I wanted to
oh,
say
go
there.
ahead then. Go ahead.
Yeah. So initially, I wasn't even gonna say anything publicly, and again, this all is related to this bigger thing that we keep referencing here, right? Um, there was concern there, like the call that happened where we confronted him. There was so much weird shit going on. Like, part of me was concerned that he was about to like come out publicly and like try to twist shit, which he ended up not doing. And everybody involved kind of said that they were just gonna like not even touch this. So there's a lot of things going on. So this was not the cut and dry like, hey, here's evidence, like we should throw this out here that it like might seem from the outside. So there's a lot of like moving parts, I guess you can say. There's a lot happening here. So it was a little bit different than the average situation. That being said, I mean, I'm not really opposed to like asking her if she's okay with me releasing that. She
Or
probably wouldn't care.
okay, well, and further, like, would she, if you could possibly even ask her if she would be open to answering questions like from me. And again, I would never corner somebody like that. I'm very,
Yeah.
pro, you know, like anybody who's been, I hesitate to say victimized, especially with her own take on this, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think that it would potentially be valuable to have her, answer questions. Not saying that she needs to be brought on the stream, but even if in DMs, or if she would be willing to share any, evidence with me, I think that that could potentially be productive.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, she, like I said, she seemed like, how would I say it? I feel like I'm annoying her. Like, I don't want to keep asking her, like, because I didn't just have her reach out to you. Like, actually, I did put her in touch with some people already, and that's how I know that there's more screenshots. Like, I know, Stranzina, reached out and they had a conversation, and like these people, behind the scenes have kind of looked into it. So there's people out there that already have the information. I don't really want to go ahead and keep asking her like, "Hey, can you do this and that?" So at the very least, I will ask her if she's okay with me sharing what I have. But I don't think I want to continue like pester her to like, "Hey, come on a YouTube stream." You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't think that there's any reason for her to necessarily come on the stream. I think you understand that we have this confession, right? We
Mhm.
have, your word on this, and we have, um, you know, like other people kind of vouching for it, but we don't have any screenshots of any form, which usually, like, especially with what you've been saying about the severity stuff, what the quote unquote victim herself has been saying about the severity stuff, I think that
Mhm.
there is potentially a really good reason for those screenshots to be out there.
Maybe, yeah. My thought process was that it wasn't gonna save him in any way because he decided to basically kill himself off the internet, right? So, but yeah, from like a integrity standpoint for people like you who aren't involved in any way, who just want to know the truth, sure, I can see the value of that. Um, but it definitely doesn't benefit him at all at this point, even if it might make people not think as harshly about him. So. But yeah, I think at most what I'd be willing to do with her is ask her if she's okay with me sharing those. But I wouldn't want to do anything more than that at this point with her. So
So, but would you be willing to do that? What you said you would be willing to do?
Ask her for the if she's okay with it.
Yes.
Yeah. If you give me, I mean, I'll ask her right now. I don't know if
That
she's
would be,
around,
yeah,
but
that would be awesome if you
yeah.
could. Yeah.
Okay. I have to switch my accounts. Let me like leave real quick. I'll be back in like 10 seconds.
Okay.
All right, one sec.
All right. So we're just gonna wait for him. And I will go ahead and be talking to chat for a little bit. I'm sorry that I'm not being super attentive to you guys. I'm trying to pay attention the best I can to this conversation. I will go ahead and read the donos. So what have I not read here? So Pim, the Smiling Friends character, says, "This guy is operating like Dreamer. Let me state things but not provide evidence or context to the things I'm saying." Thank you for the 5. Gila says, "Did the victims tell Urg specifically not to release the logs?" No, she never did. He never asked. We
Hello.
covered this. Hello, Urghbla. And then Yin, I will read yours in just a minute. Let's get back to Urghbla though. So did you?
Yes, I DM'd her. I was like, I didn't actually read my chats with her, but I basically just said, hey, is it okay if I show the evidence that I shared with you? And then I scrolled up in the chat and realized that I didn't even share any evidence with her. So she might not even know what I'm talking about because she didn't actually see the email. But because the email wasn't sent by her, it was sent by the other guy that was that he was cheating on. It was a whole fucking like, okay, the other person that was involved in the cheating ring showed the DMs from her. So like she never even, it wasn't like she reached out to me directly or anything like that either. So I'll have to probably just ask. I'll have to show her. So it's more than just a one-step process basically at this point. In short, I'll probably have to show her what I have and then from there see if she's okay with it. If she responds. So
Okay. And just to be clear, and I'm not trying to push this at all, I'm just trying to clarify.
uh-huh.
You're like unwilling to like send her like username so I could potentially just ask her for any evidence she feels appropriate to show.
No, I wouldn't do that because, like I said, she seems like she doesn't even want to be involved in the situation. So I'm not gonna send people to her.
Okay. Huh. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't feel super great about this just because it does kind of feel like there is a potential of somebody being not necessarily falsely accused of being a predator, and falsely confessing to being a predator.
Well, keep in mind, these were things that he did on his own. Nobody told him to do this. When I literally talked to him when we had our group call, I literally said, "Hey, look, like you're not a monster." I literally said that to him. I said, "You're not a monster." And I guess maybe there's more I don't know, whatever. At least for what I knew, I told the dude, I'm like, "Look, I'm not telling you this stuff. We're not confronting you with this evidence to try and say that you're a piece of shit. We're simply saying that like you need to stop like being so critical and like this shit because it was getting very disruptive essentially." So the only person that wanted this to be public and wanted to push this predator thing was him essentially.
So that kind of segues into my next question.
Mhm.
We don't have that confrontation call. Did you
Right.
record that confrontation call?
I did not, but I know some people did.
Is there a way to get that confrontation call?
Probably not, because like again, I told you there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes relating to privacy and a bigger thing going on here. Because there was a this bigger thing. It's a bigger project that was being worked on with a lot of people, and that's why his whole nonsense was disruptive. We were trying to do things productively, and he's sitting here trying to like grill people. So no, that can't come out without damaging our project essentially.
Could those parts of it be censored so that the
No,
relevant
because
elements of it could come out?
there's no element of it that can really be shared because it's privacy for the people involved. You know what I mean?
Uh, I
Like
I
the people directly involved in the confrontation are people that are not trying to be public.
So, okay, then I guess my follow-up question would be, do you know for a fact that nobody told him after this call before he made the accountability statement that he wasn't a predator? Do you know for a fact that nobody told him he was a predator
Like nobody told him to do it.
between those times? Or that he's a
Um,
predator to do it, that he's a monster, any of that kind of stuff?
mhm.
Are you absolutely
Well,
positively 100% sure that nobody did that?
I mean, I see Stronzina's in your chat. I know that the conversation they had was a little more You know, maybe something with her. I don't know. I don't know if she directly said that to him, but definitely none of us, like none of the, you know, the people that were involved in that confrontation, none of us wanted to say that. Like none of us felt that way. So maybe I guess Stronzina could answer because if anybody did, it maybe would have been her. But if not her, then definitely nobody.
Okay, well, I mean, Stronzina, once I'm done talking to Urghbla, feel free to call in and I will give you my Discord. But I have some thoughts on your
Wait. Actually, sorry to interrupt you. So Six Flow said evidence is gonna be put into the video. Are you saying the? I guess they're already the evidence that I told you about with this girl. Like I mentioned, Sranzina has much more because, like I said, they had talked with her. So if they're maybe that's going in the Temlo video, I actually don't even know. So they might even have more evidence than I even have. So I might just be not even of value here at this point.
Sure. Can you like, and I don't mean this in an overly critical way. Can you understand how it feels a little bit like jumping the gun to kind
What?
of talk about this before the like actual evidence of the situation is there, other than of course his own testimony?
For me to talk about it, or what do you mean?
For really anybody to talk about it publicly.
I don't think so. I mean, like I said, he made his accountability statement. I just kind of reacted to that. That's kind of all I did.
But we've right, and we've kind of explained the issues with like how that could not necessarily be the most, you know, reliable, right? Like not you, but the accountability statement, right?
Well, I think he shouldn't have, if anything. I mean, that's kind of what I was saying in my video. Like, I don't know how much of this should have been public, you know? Like, I don't think, and again, unless there's details, I don't know. But I don't know if that was the right decision for him. I don't know if he should have been like, hey, guys, I'm a fucking monster. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that's the right decision. But yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, definitely. I think some guns were jumped somewhere. Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Okay.
As far as, but just to clarify, my involvement in this, aside from the fact that I have, you know, this knowledge behind the scenes and was sort of involved, I'm just talking about what's happening. I'm not here to
hmm
like, you know. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I understand that. I also just want to address the chat. Anybody is going to be free to call in after my conversation with Urghbla if you have a problem with anything that I'm saying. I specifically am talking about a no means no chat that I saw that I strongly disagree with.
Wait, can I actually respond in the chat? Because I see a lot of fucking losers in there. So I get like you cover a lot of drama, I assume, right? I think the people in there are just like they're looking for like the bloodshed, like gladiator show, and they're like, you fucking came out with the scoop, but you didn't give us the fucking murder. Like, you know, they want to see like people's heads being ripped off. My video talking about the situation was literally just me talking about the disappointment of it all and just my thoughts on the situation. Never in that video did I say I was gonna be like, uh, you know, like getting into some kind of debates. I'm not here to entertain people and satisfy their like bloodlust. You know what I mean? I'm
So
just giving my thoughts on the situation.
I
So,
completely understand what you're saying. So
yep.
two things real quick. First of
hmm
all, what I'm specifically saying and taking issue with the no means no thing, I completely agree with you. I strongly disagree with the way that you're characterizing me. Second of all, and that's not to
Wait,
you,
you?
Urghbla. Not that's not
Oh,
to you,
okay. I was
Urghbla.
gonna
That
say
was
I was
somebody. That
confused.
was somebody talking about me in chat, saying that
Yeah,
me
I was super
asking for
confused.
evidence towards the situation is essentially comparing me to a rapist, right? And
Mm.
I take issue with that, and I would love to have a conversation about it. A normal conversation where I will not raise my voice and it will not be blood sports. And secondly, what I will say, just to defend my chat a little bit, is that no, we just have a stronger impetus for evidence
Mhm.
than potentially, I guess, your community does. And I'm not saying that as a diss whatsoever. I'm just saying that we operate on things a little bit differently. And so I think that that is a lot of the pushback that is happening in the chat here.
Well, no, I
Um,
mean, I agree. Nobody should really care about my word. I mean, evidence is evidence, right? I'm just talking about my story. So, like, here's the thing, right? I'm like, hey, these are things that I've seen. I know that they're true. That doesn't mean that I am gonna prove them to you, right? And if you choose not to believe that, I don't really care, you know. And that's not me being like "fuck you." I'm just saying, like, again, my video was a commentary based on his accountability statement, right? And again, I know you haven't actually looked at the statement yet, but if you listen to the statement, it's kind of like tough, especially, you know, you kind of have like a good understanding of the situation at this point, and you and I both basically agreed that like I mean, let's just ask it simply, right? Like, do you think that he should make that? Do you think he should have made that statement, basically calling himself a monster and a predator, based on him having like a, you know, online little fling with somebody when he was 19 talking to a 17-year-old? You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely
do you think
not.
he should have? Well, yeah,
Absolutely not.
exactly. And yeah, so that's kind of what my video was. It's like, hey, look, I mean, I've seen the evidence and I wanted to clarify some things because people were calling him like, the R word and, all this crazy stuff. He's definitely not those things. So, yeah,
And and
that's pretty much, yeah, go ahead.
so and again, I'm not trying to say this in an overly critical way. Like, please feel
Mhm.
free to push back on me if you feel like I'm being bad faith or anything like that. But like,
Okay.
essentially, your video is like a story time video in that way, right?
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much. Yeah.
okay, okay. But it is, I mean, the potential criticism comes with like the fact that it is a story time about real events that have like consequences attached to them. And I know what your
Mhm.
response is going to be, that like, this potential this evidence is coming, and that's perfectly valid. And I think we're all looking forward to eventually seeing that, right?
Yeah.
And you know, um, so, oh my God. Six
But
Flows, I really want to talk to you after this. I really want to have a conversation with you after this. Yeah, I really want to have a conversation with you about this. Okay.
hey, listen, you're getting into the VR chat shit. I'm
I
telling you, you can
mean,
go forever with
my
this
God,
stuff.
these people are accusing me of not caring about victims. These people are saying that like this isn't my turf and I need to stay off. Like, I quite
Yeah.
frankly, I find that a little bit. I'm gonna keep myself nice and passionate and
That's a
beautiful
good
and
call.
kind.
Yeah.
Um.
Do you
Anyways,
see why? Do you see why I don't? This is why I'm saying, look, I'm just the fucking reporter here. I'm not trying to get into debates with these people. Like,
sure,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm
sure,
just talking about what's
I get
happening.
it. I
I,
get
I
it.
I already interrupted you, so I'll just try to like, finish it and hopefully maybe tell me if I'm misrepresenting you, right?
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. You're saying, hey, look, like I get it. You're over here, cool story, bro, but like we don't give a fuck. We just want the evidence. I get that. So I understand where you're coming from. Um, and I understand, like, yes, you can say I jumped the gun if you want, but like that I think that perspective is kind of coming from the perspective of like, is it satisfying for the viewer, right? Like just because I made a video making claims and I claimed there was evidence but didn't immediately, it's not readily available, doesn't mean that it's not true. And I even, that's why I wanted to promote Temlo, like he knows more information.
right.
I don't think and especially if he's going to include that stuff about the 17-year-old, then that pretty much completely removes me from the picture entirely. Like I don't really want to be that involved with it. I was just giving my thoughts on the situation. And yeah, it's basically like being annoyed when you like watching a show and then you have to like wait 2 years for the next season. Like I get
Yeah,
it, it's not satisfying, but
right.
it's coming
And
out. So,
I
and I
I
did ask the girl, so
and I do just want to like clarify, this isn't about a term of satisfaction. This is not about us wanting to crush someone. This is not about us wanting some kind of like giddy experience of blood sports or something like that. A lot of us are very like centered on justice, I would say.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
because of that, like we just want to make sure that things are done, like, or not done by the books, but that the evidence is there. And like you said, with this Timlo video, it sounds like the evidence is going to come out. And I think
Mhm.
all of us, look forward to that for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think we're both on the same page about that, like
Yeah.
on each other's feelings in terms of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so let me see. So I think you may have alluded to this or told me, and forgive me if I'm forgetting, in our DMs, but is there a reason for not releasing the DMs between you and Sileskios? I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name again.
No, no, you're good. I mean, the DMs between him and I are just him calling himself a monster. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not like yeah, it's just kind of like heavy. It's basically me trying to like he was calling himself and comparing himself to all kinds of I mean, funnily enough, he compared himself to Glass, which you're familiar with, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Glass was he maybe made some mistakes, but how many mistakes is until you say there's a problem, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So, yeah, it's like, by the way, Glass was fucking like 25 or 26 talking to a 16, 17-year-old. He was 19. Like it's, that's pretty much some of the things that were in the conversation. I'm like, bro, you're not on that level.
Well,
Yeah.
but just to give context and be specific, that girl lied about her age, right?
The Glass or
Yeah, the glass girl. I haven't
one of
looked in that
them.
situation in so long.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so one of them did, but one of them didn't.
It's hard to say with him, but yeah, there was like three of them, so it's like
There
hard
were
to
three.
keep track.
There were three minors.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like how many times you gotta fuck up before like, oh, hold on a second. You know what I mean? It's like, come on.
Sure. Sure. I understand
Yep.
what you mean there. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the glass stuff was so much fun last year.
Yeah.
Getting him on that call and him saying that dick pics are not sexual was
Yeah, I'm gonna be
awesome.
dead ass with you. You can get him on here right now. He would love to come on here and talk shit. I guarantee it. I mean, look at his. Listen, look at his channel right now. Look at his channel right now, and look at his community post.
Oh my God, is he talking about this?
You'll be surprised what you see on there.
Oh
Just
God.
just type glass VR chat. You'll get him right.
Okay.
All right,
Hold
and
on.
then
We got
yeah, there he
glass.
is. Go look at his community post. Go ahead and take a little look.
Posts.
Go ahead and do a little scroll.
Oh God. Okay, here we
Keep
go.
scrolling. Just keep scrolling through it. Keep scrolling through that shit.
Wow. Wow.
He's been stun locked for the last year.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Do you
So
have glasses? Do you have glasses Discord? Because I would love to talk to him after this. I'd love to have a little conversation with Glass.
I can probably find it for you. I'm sure he's listening. To be honest, I mean, he as you can see, he's very involved in what I'm doing. And I shouted out your stream in my server, so
Well,
he's
you're
watching
listening
what
to
I'm
this.
doing very
Please
close.
add me. I will put my. I'm gonna go ahead and do this because I wanted to, anyways. And this is for other people as well who would like to call in after my conversation with Urghbla. I'm going to go ahead and give everybody an invite. My Discord is being so laggy. My God. But I'm going to give everyone the public invite to the server. If you would like to call in, and especially if your name is Glass, for God's sake, feel free to join the Discord, and there will be time for you to call in. And okay, great. Glad we're
Yeah, but let me just say this one bit, right? If you do
Yeah,
get Glass in here, I promise you're gonna be wasting a lot of time hearing him dox me and everybody associated with me to try and like say that I'm like a woman abuser and things like that. So
Okay, well,
just know it's all a waste of time, but it's very entertaining. So
well,
that's pretty much the TLDR.
I will say if Glass does anything even close to that, I will immediately kick and ban him from the server. I am not okay with doxes of any kind, of course.
Okay, well, you might not get very far with him then, but
yeah, probably. But I will stipulate to him before he joins that he is not allowed to he doxes. And if he chooses to start to disrespect that, I will have someone immediately ban him. Cool.
yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
we got a little off topic there. Sorry.
Yeah, we did. It's totally fine. So let's see. We already talked about this. So here's just something I was kind of curious about. When you say that you wished for your own sake that this had were made private, what did you mean by that?
Just because it's embarrassing, because people leave comments and they're like, well, when's Urghbla gonna be next? And I think it's pretty disrespectful, and just like I get it, I get the sentiment. Like obviously people are gonna have trust issues when they keep seeing shit like that happening. But as somebody who like has been doing this, it's like it's just annoying. Basically it.
Okay. So somebody earlier in the call where we were reviewing it kind of said that he thought it was because it may like give a bad name to VR
But
chat
yeah.
predator catchers.
Yeah, I
Was
think
that
it
part of it
does.
as well?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Okay.
like it just makes everybody look bad. So
Okay. So I am personally done with my questions. You are totally allowed to say no to this. I was wondering, there is somebody who wanted to ask you a few questions. Would you be open to that? If not, that's okay.
no, I'm fine with that. They can ask.
Okay. So if it's okay, I will add us into a group chat. Is that cool?
Yep, go for
Okay.
it.
Awesome, man. All right. So let me just take care of this real quick and we will get it done. All right.
Who's INUT?
INUT is actually a member of your community in some ways.
Oh, shit.
I like some of your videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but I meant more just the VR chat community, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you're too aware of like who Birdman is or like the streamer. He like
no.
trolls on VR chat, all that. So I like watching his stuff.
Hey, real quick
Okay.
before we start this, is Smackhead Glass?
I don't think so. Why you got added by someone named Smackhead?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
To be honest, like, here's the thing, right? That guy, I ban him from my server regularly, so he has like so many alt accounts. I don't even know what the fuck he goes by anymore.
Sure. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And so to be clear, if I'm hoping we can keep things nice and civil.
No,
Anything
I'm not.
right? No, I know you're a nice guy. I'm just saying this to Urghbla ahead of time. If and to you, of course. If I'll be a good neutral moderator here. I'll make sure that because I imagine that this will be nothing but civil. But I
Oh,
just
I
always
just have
say
a
that.
question.
I always say that when we have like a group of people in the call. Just to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair, good guy, Himpy.
All right.
I guess like one of the things you said very early on when you called in was that Sileskios was very vague in his like accountability video, and I'm just curious to what he was vague to, in your opinion.
I think he did a lot of saying like he's a monster and he's a predator. I don't think he really gave many specifics for anything, right? Like he didn't really talk about specifically what happened at all.
Well,
But go ahead.
oh no, I thought you were done. I don't want
Well,
to
yeah,
interrupt.
that's pretty much it. I mean, that's
Okay.
most of it.
Well, because listening through it, right, there's three main points that he cheated on his girlfriend. I put in my notes Stromboli because that's what word came to
Fair
my
enough.
mind when I
Yeah.
heard the name. And that he's a bad boyfriend, which is like the least of the worries, right? Um, he sent pics of himself to someone that was an adult when he was 19 and they were
See,
17.
that's
And
misinformation. He didn't do that.
oh well, he says that in the
He said
video.
he sent pictures.
Yeah, I have it put up. Let me see.
I don't know if he actually said that. Maybe
Uh,
I'm wrong, but I didn't see that, and I don't believe he said
let
that.
me.
Like,
Oh, sorry. Explicitly charged messages.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like confused. Like
Yeah, I just copied
that's
it from I was looking at the
yeah.
transcript while
But
listening
that's the
to it.
thing. You're
Just
not the only
I
one
missed.
confused by that. Like that's why I wanted to kind of
Yeah.
say like, no, it didn't happen.
So
But yeah,
so yeah, like even then, he says that he overstepped boundaries with the 17-year-old and didn't respect when she would say no. So yeah, even the pictures thing, like I'll own that. Yeah, I'm fucking dumb for that.
no, it's not your
Um,
fault. I mean, like I said, it's just
so
the wording. So
so I guess I think you answered it when Himpleton directly asked, like, so you don't believe he's a predator, right?
no, I don't. I mean, like again, I don't want to talk about him specifically because there's so much that is coming out that I don't know how I feel. I guess I have to. I kind of know the Temlo situation that he's going to talk about, relating to him.
I guess just based off
Yeah.
of the like what he came out and admitted to.
Well, I will say
Do
this
you?
much, right? I don't know if a 17 and 19-year-old means you're gonna grow up to be a 40-year-old man trying to go after a 15-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
That's basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
so under what he admitted to though, like again, you do not believe he's a predator. Now, if more stuff does come out that changes that, like hey, he was actively going like after people under the age of 18, then yes, obviously, right? But in this one-off scenario, he clearly admits to. Do you believe he's a predator?
To be honest, I don't even have the messages that I received. I don't even know the specifics of them off the top of my head. So I don't even want to
Well, I
comment
don't
on,
I don't think
but
that pertains. I'm just it's
yeah.
I feel like it's a very clear question. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's what
but
I'm confused. Why does that differentiate from just like a
well, because
yeah.
so the reason I press it right,
Mhm.
and I observe the VR chat community from afar. Okay,
Yeah.
I think I have 200 maybe 300 hours on the game trolling, right?
Mhm.
Myself. So I don't like to interact with it much. But looking at the comments on his video, everyone's like, "Oh, you're so disgusting." Now, what would he be disgusting for, other than cheating on his girlfriend? Now, I don't think the VR chat community is one to like moral frog about the someone cheating.
Oh, that's so
Obviously,
there.
I don't know. I kind of disagree because it's you want to
Well,
join my
yeah, but
pod.
that's not
I guess it's
cheating, right, to
consensual. It's
them.
consensual, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot
Um.
of people that are on him just for the cheating, let alone, anything else. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair, but there are plenty of comments saying like, "Oh, the predator hunter became the pred," that
Yep.
kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So I don't know, right? It's just very silly to me based off what he admits to in that video. People were already calling him a predator.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
right.
it's just a little silly to me. Like, do you agree with that sentiment? Like when you first watched the video before you were like received any other information regarding more stuff piling on? I guess did you agree with that sentiment that he was a predator? That's like the overall point I'm getting to. When this video
Hmm.
dropped, before other people came out with more information, was the initial thing, hey, this guy's a predator.
No, I didn't have
Okay.
full confidence to call him like a predator at that point.
Okay.
Or,
That's all I've been asking with that question.
yeah.
I'm not trying to get you in a gotcha.
Well, that's the
It
thing, because it's like people are like, "Oh, you don't think he's a predator?" And then Temmel's gonna drop a video of him like doing things with kids.
No, like
But
again, yeah, no. If it comes out, that's why I said it with the
yeah,
pretense of based off that video alone, because that is the only public proof
well, let
and
me say this
admission
though.
to anything.
Well,
You
here's the
know.
thing though. Here's where it gets a little iffy, right? If he says, "Hey, I also was pushing. I knew I shouldn't have done it. And I kept pushing and pushing," like that makes it sound a little worse than just like your hypothetical 17, 19-year-old
Well,
situation,
so
right?
overstepping boundaries could be a plethora of different things, though.
Yeah,
That's why, like, that part is very unclear. I like what boundaries did he overstep,
yeah.
but it seems like there was already an explicit relationship to some extent because again,
Not really, to be honest. I mean, maybe again, maybe there is, the people that have more of the evidence than I have, but it didn't even get that like sexual. It was just him doing some kind of like flirting, making some kind of sexual comments in the midst of that. But I don't know if there was like any actual like mutual sexual interaction that took place between them even. So, but I don't know.
okay,
I mean, that's
that's
yeah.
fair.
Yeah, it's just,
Um,
again, just trying to be factual about it from what I recall.
let me see, and then
I could be
yeah,
wrong though. Yeah.
um, I guess rolling back to the evidence thing, because that's like a big point of contention. Like, I was in
Hmm.
chat saying things about a lot of people were, I guess, yeah, why would you make a video about the situation when you have more information than the average person? Why would you not consult with the person that, again, you have screenshots of or conversations with about what would need to be censored and all that before publishing the video and, like, obviously connect it to it, if that makes sense?
Yeah, well, again, my video was not supposed to be like a hit piece. It was just me kind of talking about my thoughts on it. And, all that evidence is coming out, I assume, unrelated to me.
Well, yes. However, if you're going to touch on a subject, right? Because I'm gonna roll it back because I remember when this video came out, I watched it. Your VR chat troll Goonergate video.
Hmm.
Um, I would say you're pretty thorough with that. Now, I get it's a different kind of like style of content, but
Sure.
again, earlier in stream, you said, yeah, I don't want to get too involved with this drama. However, right, again, you made a whole video going over like all the big issues with main creators right now, whether it was like Cloud's trolls associating still with Benelli trolls,
Yeah, yeah.
y-
In that
a lot of
video as
plethora of different
well.
things.
I mean, I actually still had that same logic with that video. I didn't make any accusations in that video. Everything that I presented in that video was like factual and with evidence.
Yes, but the point I'm making, if you're gonna make a video talking about this other guy now, that you had a very like 10-second portion of in the Goonergate video, because you took the time to include him, uh, why would you not include evidence that you have about it? Again, if you're gonna release the video, at least back it up. That's my overall point with it. Um,
Wait, are you saying I
because
talked about Sileskios in the Goongate video? I don't remember if I did or not.
you have like a
I might
10-second
have.
portion.
Okay.
It's nothing negative. I
I think it
don't
was
think
just
that
like saying he
you
accused somebody or
he's
something, right?
yeah the OSI, you bring up the OSI stuff and
Right.
that
Okay.
he's a voice for victims in the community.
Yeah, yeah.
At this point, that
That's
might
right.
need to be edited out.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, that's a bad look. See, that's what I'm saying. That is a fucking bad look that I say that in the video. Whatever. It's dated with a timestamp
Yeah,
for
I
people
know
to
it's
together.
old. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's my overall point with that. Yeah.
well, yeah, okay. So you're basically asking why I didn't include evidence. So, like I said, the video that I made, it was just me just wanted to speak. You know what I mean? I don't think like okay, right. The argument then comes, hey, like you don't have evidence, so we don't have to believe you, which is valid, right? You don't have to believe anything I said in the video. That was just me talking. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like a credibility thing. I feel um, like again, your content being like, I would say pretty thorough. With whether it's your own like, predator catch adjacent stuff, like all that. I still feel like you're very thorough, but it is weird to then make a video about this guy getting exposed for things or admitting to things rather, and then insinuating like to more information, but you're not going to include the more information, so that's like my issue with it.
Well, that's why I referenced Temlo because he's actually going to do that.
But why at that point, like I don't think it's that hard to censor names in Discord screenshots. I can do that in like Paint in like 2
Hmm.
seconds, right? Like
Yep.
any sensitive details, just mark it out, right? So again, like that's just my point of contention with it. I'm not defending Sileskios. I think
Yeah.
like once or what was it? He started like becoming more of like the average VR chat player with his persona, and I think he got very cringe really quick. So at no point am I gonna sit here and defend him and act like some sort of fanboy. I really don't care if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Right. So like I mentioned, I didn't have like okay, you're asking me why I didn't do something which I like my intention wasn't to put that in there, so I wasn't prepared to put that in there, right? Like again, I didn't have permission from the girl to do that, which I wasn't intending to anyway, so obviously I didn't ask for permission, right?
Yeah, but again, it falls back on the point of your other content being thorough, with evidence, providing whatever information there is that you're aware of for the current situation that you're speaking about. So again, it's just it's my main point of contention, right? If the dude ends up being like some super pedophile predator, whatever, then like, I don't think we need to wait for someone to make a whole hit piece to expose that information. Does that like, sure you want to protect the victims, that's fine. Censor them, don't involve them, don't mention them. But again, like it falls back to like, hey, people should be aware of what this guy was doing.
Yeah, even if I censor that information, I would still not post it without explicit permission from the people
Of course,
involved.
but you've mentioned many
Yeah.
times that one of the women doesn't care.
Yeah,
Saying that she
that
doesn't give
doesn't
a
mean
shit.
that I'm gonna
Yes, but I'm not
leak
saying
it.
don't do it without consent, but I'm saying that, oh, hey, then you could ask. Like, it shows that
Well, I
there
mean,
is
I
a
did ask her
willingness.
since you guys want it, but
Yeah, but I'm
you know,
saying in the
it's
moment.
like,
Again,
well,
like,
okay, again, listen, the video wasn't intended to be like, you know, a drama slopper piece, right? It was literally just me talking about my feelings in the situation. And then I said, hey, if you want evidence, go check out Temlo. Um, you know, and I didn't feel the need to push to include evidence against him, considering he admitted to pretty much everything. Maybe I guess not even pretty much everything. I mean, he admitted to far worse than what I had evidence for, right? He basically blew the evidence I had out of proportion, so I didn't feel the need to like, you know, I mean, I'm the evidence that I have is a far less egregious claim than the claims he himself had made against him, right? So it's like, you know, saying, "Oh, I don't think, you know, we don't know if the evidence is real because you didn't show it." Uh, you know, I mean, I get it, but it's just like, again,
I
that
mean,
wasn't
if
really
that's the
my
case, then why does
purpose.
someone need to make a hit piece? Like,
Well, the video Temlo is making is including information that I didn't even have. So he
and
found even more about like the children he was working with, basically doing predator catching stuff, which has nothing to do with what I received.
okay, and to clarify, to like what situation then was the information you received about?
The information I had was some of the conversation that took place between him and the 17-year-old when he was 19.
Okay. And I guess what does he say that then blows what you have out of the water? I guess you did say that the DMs you've received has none of the explicit conversations.
Yeah,
Or
well,
maybe
I mean,
light-throated.
it has some, yeah, it has some like light, like it's basically the equivalent of being like, haha, what if you sucked my dick, haha, and she's like, I don't know, I thought you had, I thought you were in a relationship, right? Like that's basically like the
Okay.
equivalent I have versus his video where he's like, guys, I'm a fucking monster, I'm on a tear right now, I can't stop going after them. Those 16-year-olds are really getting me. Like that's basically what his video sounds like, which is why people on Twitter are calling him like the R word and saying that he's like a, you know, crazy, you know, whatever.
Pedophile rapist thing or
Exactly. Yeah.
something.
So
I mean,
it's
he's
like,
just a VR chat player and this happens.
yeah. But
Yes,
anyways,
his
again,
finals wasn't
I understand why you as an outsider would want evidence for that. I like, okay, it doesn't bother me that people are like, you're saying this without evidence. I know it to be true, and I don't actually really care to prove it, right? That's kind of where it comes down to. Like, I don't care to prove that what I'm saying is true in this case. And again, the evidence and other additional details are going to be coming out from Temlo, which is why I linked him because I'm like, I understand me talking about my feelings on a situation isn't evidence, so I'll give them something so they can actually, if they actually care for evidence, they can go there. But that's not what I was doing in that video. You feel me?
again, yeah, I guess that's fair. You're giving you're at the moment like how you felt about the situation. Like
Yeah,
I
like
can
and
understand
again,
that. Like I'm not saying you're a piece of shit, evil man who's like omitting evidence for the sake of content. I'm not saying
yeah.
that.
I
But
mean,
I
I would
get
argue that I am sharing evidence because I actually linked Temlo. Anyway, I know it's not the same, and
but
maybe I
again,
actually
like
don't know the
it's
folks
waiting
that
on
would.
a whole hit piece to give like some sort of insight to what the situation was.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Um,
Okay, but then again, that comes to the argument where it's like you're just upset that like season two isn't out yet and you only got season one. You know what I mean? It's like I understand you want it now. I would like it to come out too, right?
Yeah, but
And
if you're treating it like a show, I mean, this is just trying to get information out that someone is a possible danger to people
mhm.
below the age of 18, or utilizing them to execute his predator catches, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
And that
it
isn't
was
information that
never.
needs to sit and just go into a hit piece at that point. So
Well,
my
this
same
was.
criticism could go to the guy you're talking about that's releasing a video as well. I don't mind a video being made on the situation. However, it's like, hey, post proof, whether it's Twitter, YouTube community posts, whatever. I think that's information that needs to get out there at that point. Because
Yeah, I
treating like
understand.
comparing it to a TV show, oh, you need to wait on season two. It's downplaying the overall, like, I don't want to see severity of the situation. But like again, what he's doing, if he's utilizing minors, right? I know in real life that's a crime. I don't know about the internet. I would assume it is. But like that, at least in the real, like off the internet, real world, using a minor to catch predators is like a legitimate crime. So what you're doing is, or not you specifically, right? But people making hit pieces at that point and playing it up, having, oh, I have this information. What you're doing is playing, like you're like playing up this guy's crime at that point for the
That's
sake
not
of
what I was doing
views.
though. So again, people were posting a lot of misinformation. So my video was basically to say, hey, these people are full of shit. Here's what happened, and this is how I feel about the situation. Here's evidence, or here's a link to evidence if you want to look more into it. That was basically all I was going for.
Yes, but at that point I was responding to, oh, you're just mad you have to wait for season two. Like that's how
Hmm.
people are right now. But
Yep.
again, it's like I understand it's not your video that we're waiting to come out. But
Hmm.
again, he's holding on to this information, creating this big hit piece on him when this is an information that should just be passed. Like, and
Well,
then make the video about it, like
I
digging
mean,
into it
he wasn't he's not just sitting on it. He's been actively collecting the information and getting
and
it.
then working on a
So,
video.
well, yeah,
Like,
but he didn't have all the information. He was gathering the information still.
okay, but that's regardless of the point.
But okay, but you're basically now saying, hey, post the information as soon as you get it. Don't get it all and have it be like
Like
a
if there's a
cohesive
collection,
piece.
yes, but why like at that point in the video editing process, the video should, like, obviously I'm not a fucking big YouTuber or whatever, but
Mhm.
like the video editing process, I would assume starts after you've received all the information. You're not gonna do
Probably, yeah.
20 different takes of the same video. You're gonna start the video once you receive all the information that pushes you, gives you that need, that motivator to correct, like, or not collect, but create the video. So therefore, there has to be a lapse between receiving all the information to then working on the video, then publishing it. Right?
Listen,
Does
I'm gonna
that
be
make
honest.
sense?
I zoned out a little bit there at the end, but again, I'm just gonna differentiate. Right, my video was reacting to the people posting misinformation, and
But
I linked a
at
source
this
of
point,
actual
I'm
evidence.
past your video now with like what
Okay,
we're
so
talking
we're
about. The
talking about
discussion has moved
Temlo.
past your, yes.
Okay,
That's like what we've been talking about. And you're like, well, why would you post like half information? Like if he's working on the
well,
video, he clearly has all the information.
what the fuck is this cat's going crazy? Sorry. Wait. So
And
you're
I'm not
asking
trying
me
to get
about
like heated
Temlo?
at you, but it's like it's the overall semantics of it at that
Wait,
point.
okay, wait. So you're at like, what are we? You're asking me about Temlo. Like, I mean, from what I understand, he's gathering information accurately, actively. Well, I even asked him about it somewhat recently. I think he told me last I talked to him, I was like, "Hey, what's up with the video?" He said, "Oh, I got someone I'm interviewing later still." So like, that's the last I heard about it. I mean, I don't know what
Okay.
you're saying.
Like because the overall point, right, that I made, you didn't you know what's it called, counter,
That's
bring it
relating to
again,
Temlo. Like, why does it matter what he's
no,
doing when it's
because
me?
your point was again the whole season two, and then I'm like, oh
Yeah.
hey, the information that he should have already collected off, he's making a video, correct? And then you responded and you didn't contest that point, and now we're circling
Hold
back
on.
to it.
You're telling me that he should have collected all the information at this point? Is that what you said?
It is, I, as I said, I'm not a big YouTuber, so I like the
Okay.
video making process for stuff like this. To me, I don't know. But if I'm going to make a video about something, I would collect the information needed, correct?
Okay.
So
I mean, yeah, I
therefore,
guess so. If
before
you're doing
making
what
the
he's
video,
doing,
if
yeah,
there's screenshots, like if he's collecting interviews, right? But if there's screenshots he has that is damning to the situation,
sure.
like,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
is
If you're
collected
making the video he's
and gave
making,
him
then
that
yes, he would get all the evidence, I would think, right?
before starting the video, before announcing this video, right? Or like
Sure.
telling you that he's making it. Uh,
No, I don't think so. I think he could tell me he's doing that. I think that's fine
why would you start a video on half-baked information?
because he had enough
And
information
again,
to
this
make
is
a video
him.
he
This
could.
isn't you, right?
Yeah.
So
So
like,
he
it's
had.
it's not any shit towards you.
he had information. He was gathering more information. He had enough information to be like, hey, there's a problem here, and I have evidence that this is bad. I'm going to dig more into this and get the whole story. I don't understand.
Well, the point of that was again the whole video thing. Like,
I don't actually know what you're asking. I'll be honest with you.
well, again, why announce a video if he has the half-baked information? Again, that's a question for him. We're
Why
past,
why would
I
he
guess
announce it or
we're
me?
past the point. Him, or I guess you as well. I mean, but there's more so he fed it to you, so that's not your cross to bear, right?
Well,
Uh,
yeah, I found out about the information while I was live streaming. He came on and informed me what was going on, and so I pretty much just been waiting for him to, I've been letting people know that he's working on that. Yeah. What the fuck are these cats doing over here? Okay, sorry about that.
okay,
Um,
I guess that's more silly on his side because I don't
I
like
don't
going to
I
announce
don't
a
I
big
don't agree with that. I
project
think it's okay to
if
talk about that you're working on something. I don't think there's a problem with that.
if it's half-baked, but it's just a semantics argument at that point, I suppose.
I don't really know. I think it's okay for him to say, "Hey, I'm looking into the situation." I don't know if that's a problem.
Oh yeah, looking into you versus hey, I'm making this big hit piece on the situation.
What is the difference
I
there? I don't understand.
hey, I'm actively looking into something. I'm doing I'm investigating. I'm doing some sort of investigative journalism versus hey, I'm making this video. Two different things, I feel like. But
Uh,
again, I think at this point we're having a semantics argument. I don't
I
know.
don't know. You lost me like 10 minutes ago. I'll be honest with you.
Very well.
I
But
mean, Hamilton, do you want to like chime in with anything? Like, do you know what's going on here? Like, I don't know.
The only take that I would have on that, per the what the difference is, just to answer your previous question about what the difference is between like saying I'm making a hit piece on something versus saying I'm looking into something, would be that I think the hit piece thing kind of implies that there is a decision on the matter that's already been made, whereas the looking into something kind of presents things in a more non-biased way, where there hasn't been a determination of what's actually going on yet, if that makes sense.
Did he say he was making a hit piece? I feel like he just said I was working. Like, I feel like he hasn't used that kind of language about it. I think he's just basically been saying like, yeah, this shit's fucked up. This is kind of what's going on. I'm looking more into it. I don't know if there's really anything more to that. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
No, I'm just answering your question.
Yeah, yeah, fair. I just don't know if he said that like to
Yeah,
not,
well,
I'm not.
when you're directing
yeah.
at the end of your video that if people want evidence, then this guy has a video coming out about the
Mhm.
situation that implies the existence of some sort of compilation, someone digging into it, which I would say is a hit piece.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I said he's working on the video. Like he has to, get the video together and edit everything and get all the information he wants to put in the video before he can make the video, right?
Well,
I
yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking. I'm
Yeah.
absorbing the information, The
Well,
synapses
that's
are
why maybe I'm
firing off.
wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's why I'm like it sounds like the frustration or like the thing you have an issue with is that you're waiting for the next season of your show to come out and it's not out yet and you're frustrated. That's why I
So
made that comparison.
I would again, like every time you've made that sort of
Analogy.
analogy, I
Yes.
pushed against it, and I will,
Okay.
continue to push against it and just rest on what I said before, which is that again, you know what? Do you know what cultural relativism is? This isn't to like one guy you or anything. If you don't know,
I
it's totally fine. I just want to explain it if you don't.
Yeah, you can explain it if you want.
Yeah. So like different countries have different customs that may not
Sure.
necessarily be ethically or morally aligned with, if in the example of me being a resident of the United States, that I as a citizen of the United States may not align with entirely, right? um
Mhm.
and I'm going to avoid giving specific examples because it just opens an entire can of worms. But so in that way, that's what cultural relativism is. It's understanding that people have different senses of morality depending on where they are. And in this case, I'm referring to communities, right? And so
Yeah.
what I would simply say is, rather than this TV show analogy where you're kind of acting like we don't like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the implication does feel like you're essentially trying to say that we don't care about the victims or we don't care
No,
about
not
this
at all.
actual situation. What is with us, we just have a higher grade of standards when it comes to evidence,
So
before
I'm
the
gonna.
publication of stuff, right?
Would you like me to clarify what I mean by
Yeah,
that?
please do, because
Yeah.
I don't want to
So
take you out of context.
yeah, no, it's not that I don't think you guys care. I think you do, but it sounds like there's a lot of frustration based on the fact that not everything is out yet. And so therefore it's like, oh fuck, I gotta wait for this to come out. I just want it all out now. Like I get that, you know. I think if we could just magically have all the information out there now and everything that Temlo has been working on, if it could all just be out, I think that'd be great too. But we just gotta wait for it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that you guys don't care.
Oh,
I mean, I also agree with your point that like it probably would be, well, maybe not the Temlo video, but some of the information might be in Sileskios' favor, other probably not so much. But I don't. At the same time, like at the end of the day, Sileskios made his decision. I don't think he's gonna come back from it, regardless. And now it's just kind of like everybody just wants to know the details to criticize and make their judgments, which is fine, but it doesn't really change anything at this point. Like what's done is done. And if anything, that's part of the reason I'm actually frustrated with him, because it feels like he just wanted to tank like the worst possible shit imaginable, so that way he doesn't actually have to take accountability for what he is literally doing, which is the shit that Temlo is going to come out with. Like that's frustrating to me. That's probably the most frustrating part.
Sure.
At like
I understand
he
that.
has
He does a
yeah.
soft admission and like dips. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not even that. He's
Not a
like,
soft
you know,
admission.
yeah, it's like he blew it way out of proportion,
Right.
and then doesn't take accountability for the fact that he's being like a massive hypocrite working with minors for like however long he's been doing this shit. Like you're like like he literally skipped over that shit entirely.
That's
You know
what I'm
what I mean?
saying. It's a soft
So,
admission because again, the
well,
what's it called?
yeah.
Working with minors to do these predator catches is like the biggest part of it that's come out of it. Like post video, like during the video, it's again like, okay, dude, you're just fucking weird. But now, like, again, the existence of like, what's it called? Proof or evidence of him working like using
Mhm.
17-year-olds as decoys. Again, that's like, I don't know how it is on the internet, right? If you're doing internet catches like that. But in real life, like it is a crime to use a child to like entice a predator.
I mean, I feel like it
Um,
should be in this case too. Like it's not that different,
So-
really.
yeah,
Like,
that's
so-
what I'm saying. I just don't know the internet semantics
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
I'm
no, I agree.
saying. But
Sure.
like he potentially committed a crime, and that is like, okay, hey, like we need to know if this is true.
Yeah,
So
it-
that's
So-
like my biggest.
Before you just get ahead at all, I just want to address tourists real quick. So just real quick, me explaining cultural relativism is not saying that pedophilia is okay. I'm strongly against pedophilia, shockingly enough. 1. 2, I am not defending Sileskios. I am saying that evidence is important in a situation. As I've said before, anybody who has a problem with my coverage, my takes, or my interview can feel free to come on after this. Okay. Now, Ina, is there or Urghbla, if I interrupted you, then feel free to finish your point. Otherwise, we'll kind of start wrapping it up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I feel like things get a little like deep into different areas, but to kind of like maybe conclude it in a way, I understand that the main frustration comes from my video not having as much evidence as you would have liked, but I think that you're misunderstanding the purpose of my video, right? My video wasn't intended to be like you know, like, hey, it's my feelings. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, a lot of my video is me talking about the disappointment that I felt for the situation and me kind of explaining what's going on. And I also recognize that, like, hey, maybe not having any evidence is a problem, right? Which is why I wanted to link Temlo. So yes, understand it's not all in one cohesive video or anything like that. But I want to talk about my feelings on the matter. And for people that don't give a fuck about my feelings and just want to see the evidence, that's where you can go to Temlo. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, as I said, like, look, I can respect it, I can understand it.
Yeah.
Again, the biggest criticism towards you about it was just again how thorough you've been with previous situations, covering them versus now, right? In terms of providing the evidence to the viewer.
I'll be honest. I could tell you for a fact I've made predator videos that I've not even included any evidence that they're predators aside from like the confrontation, because it's
But is
kind of
that
like
more recent or
implied.
old?
I mean, probably older just because I haven't had many videos in general lately. But like, when people are watching YouTube content, they're, this is sort of unrelated, but long story short, it's kind of implied in the interaction. Like obviously, like if I'm confronting somebody and I say, "Why were you trying to do this with the 15-year-old?" and there's like literally him in the video trying to do things with her, it's obviously, implied that he is an actual predator and it's
Yeah.
not just like me lying. So there's videos where I could have been a bit more, I disagree basically that every single one of my videos have been like fully like max evidence in them. There
Yeah,
certainly are
again,
some that
it's
are,
just
but
knowing the capability. Again, like
yeah.
it, sure, like I haven't watched every single one of your videos, but the ones I've watched, again, I feel like you're pretty thorough and
Well,
like showing the viewer the why this person is like what you're claiming they are, which is like most times a pedophile or a predator.
yeah.
So again, like that was the main thing is like as the viewer, it's I need the why,
Yeah.
like the
Well,
what's
that
in it
I
for me
mean,
factor.
I'm linking you
Uh,
to the source of it, right? I'm not gonna like take what Tableau investigated and be like, "Hey guys, here's my video and everything that I got." Like he did the work, you know. He's the one who discovered this stuff. I wouldn't know any of it without him. None of us would probably. Um, so I don't think there's an issue with me indirectly showing the evidence in my video, right? Like, yes, my video itself has nothing in it, but I did give you a source of evidence so you can see what I'm talking about. And yes, the evidence isn't out yet, but it's coming. So
Yeah,
I don't think it's
again,
that big of
that's
a deal.
part of it. But again, I'm not mad at you. Okay,
Yeah.
some points maybe got a little heated over semantics. You know, I'm a little retarded. So, um, but yeah, again, sometimes like you need the what's in it for me factor as the viewer, and that's like
Yeah,
what I
sure.
felt.
Well,
So
and again, that's why I kept saying like the season 2 thing. It's like, well, it's there. It's just not in this video. You got to wait for the next season to come out and
well,
go to Ten Wolf's channel. So
I
that's what I was
think it's
saying.
just different when it's like real issues, if that makes sense.
I
Like
I think
like it is more of like, hey, I want to know what they did now. But we'll talk
exactly,
in
yes, you
circles
want it
if we get back
now.
into this
Right.
point, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to keep going in circles, if that makes
Oh
sense.
yeah, but at the end of the day, you're just saying what you would have liked for my video, and I'm just telling you what I wanted for my video,
Well,
right? And
it's
you know,
more so someone that's like again, every time these VR chat and big drama things happen, I typically watch them, like look into it.
mhm,
Like again, even the small shit like between what was it Bossman 69 UK versus calling out Clouds and then delisting his videos, calling out Clouds because they were like, in my opinion, they were stupid. Looking at like just from what I gathered from that situation, it just seemed like a clout call out personally. But like even small situations like that, it's more so like I like I don't make the content talking about it. It's just more so as like the viewer, like why do I care? Oh, is this guy evil? Okay. No, you're just, moral frogging about this guy in that specific situation.
is it for
So
my video or just like another
no, no, no,
situation?
no, in the Boss Man
Can
69 UK
you
versus Clouds thing.
so can you give me like the specifics of so again from the perspective that obviously I can post whatever I want on my channel, and you're allowed to feel however
Yeah.
you want. So I don't believe that uh I've harmed anything by voicing my opinions and expressing disappointment,
No,
right?
I never claim that.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, so like, what issue do you actually take with the fact that I just wanted to make a video like expressing disappointment
Again,
about a
it's
situation?
just the with them, like the what's in it for me factor. As a viewer, and I think again that just seems like it's a very not appropriate but common uh I guess outtake of what you're like of your videos. Like, hey, you're claiming these like you're talking about these things, but we don't see anything
Hmm.
like backing it up, and then you're like, hey, this guy has all the proof, but he's waiting on a video. Again, so as a viewer, I can't look at that and take that as like, oh, hey, this is like this dude, Now I have the cognitive ability to understand what Sileskios baseline admitted to, and it shows that he is a freak. Uh, but when we're getting into more illegal territory, it's like, okay, I actually want to see this now. And
Yeah.
that is,
Well,
like
I
again,
listen. I'm also
the
waiting
point.
for it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm also waiting to see it with you.
Oh,
So
has he
I'm
not
with you on
shared it
that.
with you?
Well, I've seen it, but I don't know the full story. Like, he sent me a lot of evidence, and truthfully, it's a little confusing without like full context, right? He's talked to a lot of different people.
Is that what the
Like,
interviews will clarify?
I imagine so, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, here, look, I'll even do you one better, okay? I will share with you a censored image from what he sent me right now. Okay, well then,
Okay.
will this
Please
satisfy you?
shoot.
I will give you a little tease
I
of
mean,
what's
I
to
am
come.
satisfied either way. Like,
Okay,
am I that involved in the like? I'm not part of the situation. Like, the
yeah,
information will come out, but it just boils down to again like potential crime being committed. I like that comes down to more than like yes, we should criticize Sileskios to the full extent. More than just calling him a freak and like a cheater and again, all that stuff, the baseline things. So now, okay, hey, you're an actual menace to children because you're involving them in your predator hunting things, and again, potentially committed a crime by doing so.
yeah. So
Um,
I'm gonna do this with the integrity that I know Temlo would want. So none of this is censored. So if you just give me like a minute, I will get you one screenshot and censor it. That way you can very clearly see some of what was going on with those conversations.
But again, whatever you send, like, I think Hippleton will feel the same.
Yeah, you could show it
I'm
on the
not gonna,
stream
I'm not
too.
gonna. Oh, I was gonna say I'm not gonna leak it by any
Oh no,
means.
yeah, no, you can. I'm gonna
Oh,
censor it.
if you're fine with that, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. All right, hold on. Let me just go ahead and I'm gonna censor every. I don't know what of this is sensitive, so I'm literally just gonna censor like all the names of other people that are not Sileskios, and obviously anything not safe for work. So where the fuck is this? Just give me a minute to make sure I'm thorough here and don't do anything I shouldn't. Okay, you guys are gonna get the inside scoop right now.
Awesome, man.
Well, again, as I said, like I wouldn't leak it, but if you didn't want it to.
No, it's not really leaking. He already told me I could share this stuff. I just
Oh, okay.
I just wasn't gonna go and make like a video and be like, "Hey guys, look at all this shit," and undermine what he's doing. I mean, I don't even know the full context. So, let's see. I'm just gonna censor all the names. I think some of these names are like the names of predators, so I don't even know. But okay. So the context of this screenshot that I'm about to show you is Sileskios sharing it in a group chat with his like minor assistants, essentially. Probably should censor the furry imagery here as well. Yeah, you probably don't want to show that on the stream. Give me a sec.
Wait, let me get the uncensored version.
You need that. Okay, hold on.
That'll
I'm
calm
just
me down.
gonna.
Don't you worry.
Yeah, we got to get you some of that furry stuff. All right, that should be appropriate for stream. You can see what's going on there. Okay, let me just give it one last look to make sure it's good. Oh yeah, let me censor everything in this camera roll here. So honestly, you know what? You could extrapolate yourself what the context of this is, but Shomaru is Sileskios in this. This is the account that he used. So I'll just go ahead and put it in this chat. Okay. Feel free to take a little look yourself to make sure that there's something that shouldn't be in there. But as you can see, essentially it's Shomer there typing, saying an image that you can see as a minor of someone's name, someone's furry girlfriend. And as you can see, he's sharing a image of a screenshot of some Discord chats. And in that screenshot shows a very explicit.
It's the furry.
Yeah.
Ass.
So you could show that on the stream, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so essentially this is a screenshot from Sileskios showing Discord chats. And this was placed in, I would assume, one of the, conversations with the minors that were assisting him.
Why is, just out of curiosity, why is Sileskios' name censored?
It's not.
No.
He's
So with the
Shomaru.
bottom of the screenshot, he sent this. This is a screenshot. The gray background stuff, Hippleton,
Right.
is a screenshot, and they tapped on it, and that's the message attached to the picture that he sent.
That's an SQ.
That's why it's transparent.
No.
Yeah, so that's why it's transparent behind it, I think.
Sileskios is Shomaru. If you look at the very bottom, that's him.
I see.
It's just a weird looking Discord
Okay,
screenshot.
I understand now. Okay, my bad.
So that's the
Okay.
text he sent along with that screenshot.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for
and that red
clarifying.
bar
That
at the
was just a
bottom
little
is
confusing.
censoring a whole a bunch of images in the gallery of their chat conversation, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is basically the type of stuff he was posting, and he was sharing chat logs showing the furry imagery in there, and there's several other ones like it.
And this is 2024. How old was he in 2024?
He'd have been like 21 or 2 or something. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. See, that's very far disconnected then, I would say.
Yeah, and again, I don't know all the specifics of everybody involved, but apparently, the group was full of minors. They have the whole organization, CCA or whatever the fuck it was. So yeah. Anyways, there's a little bit of what, obviously, we can all probably, maybe we disagree on some things, but I think we can all agree that you probably shouldn't be working with minors on your investigations into predators and then be sharing, not safe work imagery with sexual, content like that when you're working with minors, which you shouldn't be working with in the first place. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
I guess my last question, for clarifying information, since you say he works with multiple minors, do we know the age range of these minors? I guess.
I don't personally, but I'm certain Temlo will have all that.
Okay. Yeah, because again, I think people mentioned he was using, or it's been mentioned that he was using 17-year-olds for
Well, definitely, obviously at oldest 17 for the minors anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, and again, with him being 21 at the time of this, yeah, it's fucking terrible. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's substantiating enough to
not only
he's
that,
okay sending to minors as a 21-year-old man.
Keep in mind, he was literally, as I explained in my video, he was literally grilling somebody for having a conversation with minors about a situation involving predators. right? And that person, when upon finding out, I just was made aware. Apparently, the people were ages 13 to 17. That was what someone just sent to me that knows. So apparently, they were ages
13 to
13 to
17?
17. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
that's what I was told. But anyways, the person that he was grilling was somebody who didn't really realize they were even talking to minors. They just were having the conversation regarding like a predator that was kind of like a popular topic. And upon finding out they were talking to minors about it, the person again instantly realized like, oh, that was a mistake. I fucked up and apologetic. So to think that he would grill somebody for that when this dude had a group of fucking minors that he was working with this whole time is like absurd, So it's not even just that he was doing it. It's like the layer of hypocrisy over it as well is just fucking like disgusting. You know what I mean? Like it's
Oh
just
yeah.
like, yeah. So that's like how, when I say it pisses me off that he said, "Oh guys, I'm a monster, I'm leaving." He didn't take accountability for this at all. Like the fucking hypocrisy and, like this whole situation at all. Like the fact that he was doing this the whole time. Like I want to hear some kind of statement about that. Like you just saying I'm a monster doesn't mean anything to me. Like I want to hear why the fuck you did this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind
No,
of like the frustration, partially
yeah,
as
from
well.
his side.
Yeah,
Is there
it's
no
just a whole
one?
lot.
All right, I get this is my final question, I swear,
No,
and
you're
then I'm
good.
gonna go. So, because so Himpleton can move the process forward with his stream agenda.
Mhm.
Um, is because I know kind of in the predator hunting community of VR chat, some of y'all like y'all kind of know each other because you're all like similar
Somewhat.
size, have interacted with each other in some way, shape, or form. Does no one have Sileskios on Discord or like any way to
He
contact him?
he removed us all, so I have
Okay. Does he
no
have friend
contact with
requests
him.
disabled? That
I
kind of
believe
stuff.
I believe so. I haven't really tried to bring him back, but I
Okay.
believe he always had friend requests off anyway. But yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
could be wrong,
Okay.
but
Yeah, because it'd definitely be something to dig into if that's the case.
yeah, no, definitely. That pisses me off. Like he said, "Oh, you caught me, guys. I'm a monster," and didn't get specific at all, right? He doesn't take any like accountability for just specifically what he did, which 100% this situation, like I said in my video, I think a lot of that could have been private, but 100% this is something he needs to fucking take accountability for. And so the fact that like he left before anybody even knew what was going on is just very frustrating. So, yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, with that man, Himpleton, thank you, and Urghbla, thank you.
thank you, sir.
Again, I don't hate you.
No,
Okay,
no,
I
you're good,
I
man. You're good.
enjoy a good bit of your content. It was just semantics and like small things that irritated me throughout hearing the conversation tonight, and again the video itself with the video itself. I don't think you're evil. Okay,
Thank you,
you
man.
know,
I don't think you're evil either.
I might be
I
evil.
respect that you demand evidence and you are also somebody who likes to, I'm 100%. I didn't have evidence in my video. I'm glad that you demand facts before you make your opinions. So I
Yeah.
respect that.
All right. Well,
Uh,
thank you.
So
Y'all have
of
fun.
course, of course. And just to close this out, Urghbla, I just want to thank you so much for coming on my stream, man, and just being willing to have this conversation with me. I genuinely really appreciate it. I do feel like, you were able to add some context that we previously didn't have. And yeah, I mean, as Inut said, like, I hope you understand that, like, any disagreements that we're having here are not me, like, jabbing at you or anything like that. I think that this was a valuable conversation.
yeah, well, that was my main concern. I didn't know if I really had much of value that I could offer. So I'm glad you got something out of it. So
Yeah, for sure, man. So
alrighty.
yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your night and a good weekend, man.
Yeah, you two guys take care.
Yeah, bye. All right.